Welcome, everybody, to Taste Different Gaming News. What's in the news today? Another loss. X Defiant getting shut down, and people around the world go, what's that? All right, before we jump into it, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, hit those notifications, all that good stuff. And remember, get to the end. That's the best part. That's when you give us your comments, your thoughts, your reactions. Tell me a good, dirty joke. I don't care. Just give us some responses down there. We love that. All right. So Ubisoft is discontinuing X Defiant in 2025. San Francisco and Osaka studios shutting down amid those major layoffs. Ubisoft promises refunds and says it wasn't able to compete in the first-person shooter market. It wasn't a first-person shooter. It was a milk your money game. Ubisoft is officially discontinuing it in 2025, the publisher announced. And with all the new purchases and registrations being discontinued immediately, as part of the shutdown, the publisher plans to shut down its production studios in San Francisco and Osaka, while ramping down its site in Sydney, that's Australia, in case you failed geography, with up to 277 employees losing their job. Roughly half of the X Defiant team will be assigned roles somewhere else. X Defiant 2, baby. So, Chief Studio and Portfolio Officer Marie-Sophie, holy crap, what a name, Marie-Sophie de Wubert. Yeah, if you guys can pronounce that, fix that for me later. Revealed the news in an email sent to Ubisoft employees that was subsequently posted online saying that the shooter was not able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at the level we aim for, demanding free-to-play first-person shooter market. I think Nick probably said as soon as it was announced, no shit, pardon my language, but we all knew this was coming. The full message, I will not read the entire thing, but it does say, today I wanted to share with you that we made the difficult decision to discontinue the development on X Defiant. Despite an encouraging start, the team's passionate work, and a committed fan base, obviously not, we've not been able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at the level we aim for in the very demanding free-to-play first-person shooter market. And then they keep going and going and going till they get to bunch of you are fired. So we'll jump into Pat here in a second to find out what his thoughts are about X Defiant going the wayside, which was, I'm pretty sure, I don't even remember this game actually launching. I was really surprised to hear it was actually closing. And I'm really surprised that Ubisoft hasn't learned their damn lesson yet. I'm just kidding. We know they're never going to learn. So, Pat, what do you think, bud? X Defiant, are you sad?
No. And speaking of things that don't age very well, Mark Rubin said they weren't shutting down not even less than 2 months ago.
Oh, see, that was Mark Rubin's evil doppelganger, Dark Rubin. He's a liar.
On October 15th, there was a tweet by Mark Rubin that said, I'll paraphrase this, the rumors are not true. We're still alive. No, to be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after season 4. I've literally been in meetings over the last week to discuss our year 2 plans, but right now we are super focused on improving the technical experience. Well, that didn't age well. Either Mark Rubin was in the dark, or he thought he could drum up more business before December 3rd, when they officially announced that it was shutting down, right? Didn't even have to go very far to find that tweet in his on his Twitter page. Ubisoft, stop focusing on stuff that made them money. Like, we all want people to make something new. You know, we've said it multiple times. Make something new. Make something new. We didn't say make another damn live service game. Don't make another NFT bullshit. And Ubisoft just doesn't care. They're like, what is the next get rich quick scheme out there? It seems like they bought this book that says how to make money for idiots. And it's like, make a live service game, sell some NFTs. You know, next thing it's like sell used bathwater. You know, that's the next thing they're going to start selling. And every time it's like the person who's making money on those is the person selling the book. Nobody else is making money off of these get rich quick scheme. The person making the money is the person selling you the idea of getting rich quick. You're not making money. And Ubisoft just seems to have bought that hook, line, and sinker from the scammers out there. Make your live service game out the window. I mean, nobody's making a live service game that's living to this day that doesn't already have an existing franchise, right? We've seen so many people try to do it. EA, these guys, everybody wants that Fortnite, PUBG money. And it just never pans out for them. I mean, even Destiny is struggling these days with their live service game. Everybody is struggling except for the big boys out there, you know? I think people, first and foremost, is people don't have enough time to play multiple live service games and make any reasonable amount of dent in any of them. You have to dedicate yourself to a couple, one or two. You know, you can't spread yourself out to all of them and be like, I'm just going to play everything that comes out. Because if you do that, you're probably not spending money on them because you're not putting enough time into it, feel that it's warranted to spend the money. I'm so sick and tired of live service games. Just make me a game. You know, I guess I'm not the game's demographic to begin with because I'm not a PvPer. I don't like PvP. It's not my foray into it. I'll try some, you know, I'll try them and I'll play with these guys. But when these guys aren't playing, I don't play them. Like I don't hop into Call of Duty when these guys are not around. I don't hop into any PvP game when these guys aren't around. I just don't. I'm like, I play it to hang out with them. Outside of that, I don't give a crap. So take what I say with a grain of salt, but people are tired of live service games, I can tell you in general. So add PvP and microtransactions on top of it. I think people are just feeling the burnout, and I hope it's happening. I hope that people are like, I'm tired of spending money outside of buying a base game. I'm tired of having to buy a season pass every season. I'm tired of having to buy a year one pass. I'm tired of having to buy something for a game that I bought or that I didn't buy. But I'm tired of paying for a game every 3 months, every 12 weeks, you know. I'm tired of having to buy something for this game every 12 weeks. I hope that's where people are at. I hope developers feel it. And I think they are a little bit, right? Because I've seen article after article where they're saying gamers don't want AAA games anymore. All these developers are missing the mark. That is not what gamers are saying. Gamers are saying, stop with the bullshit. We don't want your stupid microtransaction hell game. We don't want it. I hope that's where it is, and I hope I'm not misreading that. But all the developers are just like, gamers don't want a AAA experience game anymore, which is, we're definitely not freaking saying that. You've been hit in the head one too many times with the corporate paddle. If you're thinking that you got to sell your stupid idea that live service is where it's at and that you can do it on an indie budget, because all live service games, I guarantee you, don't have the budget that these AAA games are, but they're calling them AAA titles because they're made by a major studio, you know, and we're not, you know. So I'm going to rant about this all day, so I need to probably pass this on over to Nick, but I'm tired of live service games. You can take the live service model and shove it up your ass along with your microtransactions. Get them the hell away from me. Nick, on to you.
I second that. I did play X Defiant a little bit when it came out, just to try it out. And it was fine as a PvP shooter, but it didn't have anything special to it. So, you know, playing it, I was like, okay, I mean, it's confident as a shooter, but compared to all the other shooters out there that have their unique hooks and things like that, this was a very plain Jane shooter. And it's like, it's not going to go anywhere, right? It's fine as a shooter, but it's not going to go anywhere because you have too many of those already. And then you have those that have their own unique hooks. And I hope you're right that these, you know, in what Mark Rubin said, this big long message or whatever, he did say, developing games as a service experience remains a pillar of our strategy. And we have achieved significant successes like Rainbow Six, The Crew, and For Honor, among others, in a highly competitive market. And we will apply these lessons learned with X Defiant in our future live titles. So, has Ubisoft learned anything? No. They're just like, all right, well, X Defiant didn't work out, so fire these people, go back to the drawing board. What's the next live service game we're going to make, right? They haven't made a new Rainbow Six because all they do is make crap for Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is a fun game, don't get me wrong, But I would love to have a single player Rainbow Six experience. I love Rainbow Six single player campaign. It's always one of my favorites to go through and play. And ever since Siege came out, we haven't had one ever since, right? So it's like, get back to, stop trying to follow the trends and the fads and things like that. I'm hoping, like you said, Pat, that things are burning out for developers, because we saw the influx of battle royales, and battle royales is really killed off, right? We hardly get any of those anymore. And people aren't talking about, because people just, gamers just decided they had enough of them, right? There was too many coming out. It was flooding the market. They're like, no, we're done with this, right? They have their battle royales that they play now that are pretty much dominating the market. And that those kings don't get overthrown, right? No matter what other battle royale game comes and tries to overthrow the king, it just does not happen. So, and you're right. It is hard for it's hard for gamers to go out there and play all these games as a service, right? To invest their time, especially if you're playing like Fortnite or whatever it is, a game as a service game that you play, and you've invested time and money in it, and a new one comes out, you're not going to take all that and go play that new game, right? You've invested all this time and all this money into this one property to just abandon it for something else. You're going to be like, no, I mean, I've put too much into this. I'm not just going to up and leave it. It's kind of like MMO players, right? EverQuest 2 comes out. There's people still playing EverQuest because that's what they started with, and they have so much time and money invested in EverQuest that they don't want to go play EverQuest 2. Or even if World of Warcraft 2 came out, I bet you World of Warcraft would still have a crap ton of players because people invested so much time, energy, resources, and various things like that. That's why MMOs are hard to get off the ground too. People are already playing the MMOs they want to play, and it's very difficult for a new MMO to launch off the ground running, right? It's a very complicated atmosphere to get players to switch to your thing, right? You really got to make a compelling case to people to come to your product. And with X Defiant and a lot of these other games as service games, they just don't have it, right? X Defiant, Concord, Exoprimal, right? Capcom did, Square Enix has been trying to make a games as a service forever, and they fell miserably every single time. All these companies just fail, and you're right. Gamers don't. It's not that, and developers are missing the mark. It's not that gamers don't want a AAA game. That's fine. Double A, triple A, quadruple A. You can put as many A's behind it as you'd like. They just want a good, complete gaming experience. They don't want to be nickeled and dimed or NFT'd or microtransaction the hell out of. They want a complete gaming experience that's fun and creative, and they can play from start to finish without being bombarded with buying stuff, right? Or season passes or loot boxes or whatever the case may be. That's why, developers are like, oh, they're wanting a more AAA experience, or they're playing more indie games. The reason why most people are playing more of those games is because those games don't sit there and try to shove microtransactions down your throat. That's what they're like, cool, these are complete experiences and they're great games, right? I don't have to worry about a store or a battle pass or anything like that. I can just play this game and it's a complete experience from start to finish. Maybe they'll come out with like an expansion later on for it or something like that, but it's an expansion, right? It's like a tacked on thing that they come out with later on for the game that you can buy maybe or something like that, but it's not something that's buying hats for your character or some crap like that, right? So that's what people want. They just want a complete experience. They're tired of being nickeled and dimed for every little thing that they are trying to purchase, right? They'll play your games, your AAA games, your quadruple A games, as long as you don't. Basically, it's like don't don't piss on them and tell them it's raining, and they'll sit there and they'll play whatever you make, as long as you don't, sit there and try to screw them over on it. If you give them the honest truth and be upfront about whatever game it is, and just give that game as more of an artistic and not trying to make money, but more of an artistic and truthful game for the player to enjoy, then they're going to be more apt to support and play that game than when you're, trying to screw them every time they turn it on. So that's what a lot of, I don't know if it's necessarily developers, but clearly development companies and CEOs and things like that, especially Ubisoft is and Activision Blizzard and all these big companies are just looking at the bottom line. They're just looking at how they can make a buck, and follow any fad they can and do anything they can to make $1. And then when it doesn't work out, they go, what did we do wrong? And they don't think of what did we do wrong as like, oh, maybe players don't want this. They're like, maybe the microtransactions weren't aggressive enough, or maybe people just didn't like the hats we were selling, so we need to make different hats. And it's like, no, you dumb, you just want to smack these people because like they're so disconnected from reality. It's insane. They're on a different planet, and that planet does not include the rest of us. So
it's you gamers' fault. That's whose fault it is.
Yes, it's always the people's fault. But anyway, yeah, I could go on and on about this too, but it's like it's par for the course for Ubisoft and these big publishing and development powerhouses such as them.
We gave up the Division Heartland for this garbage because they killed that game off, and the studio went to this game.
Yeah, and there's nothing really more I could say. I mean, you guys are absolutely right. Do I want a AAA game? Yes. Do I want a AAA game that makes me buy that hat every 30 seconds? No. Do I want a AAA game that is the same one I played 40 times prior? No. I'm okay with you trying to dethrone Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone. I'm okay with that, but not with everybody trying to do that. Everybody's trying to do it. People that have no business even attempting it. Square Enix, get the hell out of that arena. You don't belong there. Ubisoft don't belong there. Ubisoft has some of the greatest franchises in gaming history, in my opinion. They truly do. I mean, me and Nick played countless hours of Rainbow Six multiplayer and loved it. We played the story, loved it. Those are AAA games back then, and there's still AAA games today. They just don't make them. That's what the gamers want. We're just tired. We're tired of you trying to monetize our asses to death. That is what it's coming down to. There's no AAA games anymore. There's AAA monetization scams. That's what it's all about. And I'm done with them. I mean, Ubisoft has Rainbow Six. They're only doing one thing with. They have Ghost Recon. They failed at everything they've tried to do the last 3 or 4 iterations. Splinter Cell is nowhere to be seen. Basically, Tom Clancy is buried somewhere at the Ubisoft headquarters, rolling over his grave.
And you know what else Ubisoft did? Just to tack onto that, they figured it out with Prince of Persia.
Yes,
Lost Crown.
That's right.
And then they said, "Oops, that was too good. We better, destroy that studio and fire everybody or move them on to other things. We don't do that again."
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it sold well. I'm pretty sure it was reviewed damn well. Even Pat was like, "I like this. It's twitchy, but I like it." And they just like, oh my God, people are happy. Can't have that shit. It's just, I don't understand it.
Yeah, they got to sprinkle out the good stuff here and there, like, Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's still not dead yet, and then they're like, oh, guess what? We canceled Heartland, but we're, Division 3, we just started on. So come back in 6 years, right?
Yeah. No, it's stupidity like that. And you guys have heard me bitch about this, and you may agree sometimes, you probably disagree sometimes, but it's all this goddamn investor shit. They have these little quotas they have to hit. I want to make 10% more every year. How about you fucking be happy making what you make? You're not losing money. You're making profits. Suck it up. You don't have to have that 10, 20, 30% increase every year. It's not hurting you not to. You're still making a profit. Profit is good. But when you're not
But
happy
it's not
with
good enough.
Exactly. When you're not happy with it, I think that's more of a you goddamn problem than a developer problem, than the publisher's problem. That's you. And when you demand people that, you know, they increase your revenue by 10% every year, I don't know. I'm trying not to get angry and start using profanities because Pat, you know, he'll slap my hand. So,
well, that's how we get shit products, right?
That's exactly how.
It's perfect for the company, right? Because X Defiant is being flushed by Ubisoft, who's swirling the bowl themselves.
Yeah. Well, you've seen the meme, right? You know, the little Ubisoft logo. If you turn it on its side, it's just a shit emoji. So just look that up, people.
I mean, it really makes me wonder what's going to happen with Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Because that's been delayed and pushed back. Like, I don't know what they're doing with that.
And if I remember right, there was an article about the team developing that had never really developed a big title like that before. So
it's full of like junior developers. Yeah. It's like youngins, people who are not like young kids necessarily, but young in the development field.
Yeah. And to me, that makes me more excited.
That makes me more excited. Yeah, personally.
And we'll talk about that at another time, but I think we need more of that. I think we need more, not just younger developers, but switching things around. The team that made the new Indiana Jones game, you know, they made Doom. That is a completely flipped version of games that I would ever expect them to make. And it's getting great reviews. I fired it up and I'm not very much in it, but I'm excited for what I played. And that's what I think we need more of. We don't need more giant AAA games. We need more great games. We need more new ideas, fresh ideas. It's not how many A's you put on the damn thing. It's the quality of the A you put in there, and not the A you're going for, like my anus and my wallet. So,
yeah, I mean, we've all heard the rumors that Tencent is looking to buy Ubisoft down and take them private again, and leaving the Guillemot family in control. But we know how these game companies do, just like Sony did with Bungie. You know, you make a bad move or two, they're gonna be like, sorry, we're taking over. And that's what's gonna happen here. Tencent, you know, they own like a small percentage, like a voting right percentage, like 9 or 10%. Can't remember the amount. But you know, I don't know, man. If they buy another, you know, if they get controlling stake and they're able to bring the company back into private status, the Guillemot family may be in charge under name only, because there's probably going to be clauses where if you can't turn the ship around, because the only reason that this buyout is in the works is because Ubisoft is in trouble financially. They're not able to, they're in massive amounts of debt, and they've not been putting out good games. Their games are not making the money that they put into them. So, or not making enough to keep the company afloat, even if the game is profitable. And by profitable, I mean, makes even 1 penny more than what they put in development cost and marketing cost. Right. So they can't keep operating like that. And they are putting out pure shit here lately, you know? So, I am really, after the last Assassin's Creed game, I really am not looking. I mean, the only reason I'm looking forward to playing it even a little bit is because it's samurai, you know, Japanese, you know, and that's only because of the Tsushima itch, right? Or the Ghost of Yokai itch, you know. I'm like,
we'll get you to a doctor for that itch.
Yeah, you know.
If Ghost of Yokai comes out around the same time as Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm sorry, Assassin's Creed,
it's Yokai.
We're going
on Yokai Watch.
Yeah, we're going on the Yokai Watch.
So, you know, if Ubisoft has to push this and it comes out around the same time, they're just dead in the water. Like they better not. They can't compete with that, you know. So I don't know. Part of me just says you just need to, you know, it sounds like it's time to take old girl around back, put a bullet in her. I don't know. It's just not a good company these days. They're not putting out anything gamers want. They're too focused on live service and NFT garbage, when gamers have basically spoken very loudly, we don't want that shit. And NFTs just drives me nuts that they kept dipping their toe in the NFT market until they finally killed off.
They're
still
trying to dip
it,
their toes in it. It's like nobody's interested in that.
It's failed so many times for them. What was their thing called?
They had that Ghost Recon. Was it that Ghost Recon game that had
something with like jeweled
Quartz? It was Ubisoft Quartz.
Yeah,
that's it.
Quartz. Yeah.
And then they just put out that full-fledged NFT Champion Tactics game or whatever, right? Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell is this garbage?
That probably nobody's playing.
Yeah, it's a Web3 blockchain game. Yeah, it just needs to go down the toilet with everything else. But gamers don't want this shit. You know,
we don't.
Other gaming studios aren't really focusing on any credible, I'm going to say credible gaming studio isn't focusing on NFTs these days, but Ubisoft still is. They're like, we've wasted billions into this. We better just keep swirling it till we can make it work, right? And they're just going to go down the swirl with it as it's going on.
Most avid gamers are not gamers and Wall Street brokers at the same time. So
yeah. We're not part of the Game Stonk crew here.
We're not playing the stocks and playing video games. Okay, It's either one of you're either one or the other, right? If you're making money off the stock exchange, you're more than likely not sitting there playing video games like to the level that we do.
Yeah,
or most gamers do.
Yeah. So, but Ubisoft doesn't understand that. They're all NFT bros.
No, and that's I don't know. I don't understand the world today because it's like, if you sit down on a hot poker and it goes up your ass and it hurts, why do you continue to do it? I mean, are you thinking on the other end there's something special and magical?
Pot of gold at the other end of that pot
Ubisoft
poker.
figures if you go deeper, it'll get better.
Oh, yeah. They're hoping to, like Pat was saying, they're swirling down the toilet bowl. They're hoping to swirl far enough to find their own Mario. So,
they're going to find that pot of gold that's really just those gold foil wrapped turd coins.
Oh, my God. I love those things.
Chocolate coins.
Makes me feel rich.
They're just chocolate coins, yeah. That's what's at the end of the Ubisoft rainbow.
Coins.
That's at the bottom of the Ubisoft swirl.
Yeah, and NFTs ain't even worth that much, so. But, yeah, this is a ridiculous what Ubisoft has done to themselves. My heart does go out to the people that are losing their jobs. You know, it's sad to see that. I hope you guys pull through. I hope you can find a company or even create your own that creates games that are non-NFT, non-reliant on standard dog shit garbage that Ubisoft was trying to shove down your throats. I hope you find that game that just makes you great money and gives us great happiness. So, but you guys got anything else before Pat decides to take another flush on Ubisoft? No? All right. Well, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to say it again at the end. Make sure you hit like and the share, subscribe buttons. We love that. We need that. We work hard for that, as you can tell. But give us your comments below. Let us know what you think about Ubisoft. Do you think they're ever going to change? Do you think what they're doing is even worth it in the long run? Do you think they could ever come up with anything that'll dethrone Call of Duty or Fortnite or any of that garbage? Let us know. And next time, see ya.